So what we're going to do is we are going to take your video and we're going to analyze it in LoggerPro. So the first thing you need to do is open up LoggerPro if you haven't already. And once you have that open, up here in Insert, you want to insert a movie. And so wherever you have your videos saved, you're just going to click on that. It'll open up, what it will do is it'll open up a bunch of example experiments in LoggerPro. You don't want that. You want to search and find wherever your video is. So probably on your desktop if you just now downloaded it. Mine's hidden. Or downloads, right. And so it should pop your video up into LoggerPro. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to analyze this motion in LoggerPro. So the first thing that you want to do, you can hit the play button and your video will play all the way through. What's a kite document? So you can just make it. If your video is too big, there's the little box thing. You can change the size of it. Or if it's too small, you can change the size of it. So the little boxes, when you click on your video, there'll be little boxes. You can change how big it is in your screen. So the first thing that you want to do, you don't want to analyze the entire video. Shh, listen. You don't want to analyze the entire video. You only want to analyze the motion that you're interested in. So in this case, we've got a cart that's rolling down a ramp. So down here on these little buttons right here, what you're going to do, it can advance by 1 frame. So if you click on it a few times, you can see how it starts to go frame by frame. You want to go to the frame where the motion first starts. So wherever you let go of that car, somewhere in this video, right there. Okay, so right there is where I let go of the car. Okay, so I want to start analyzing the motion there. So find that spot in your video where the motion starts. Okay, that's where we want to start our motion. If you look down here in the bottom of your video, there's a little arrow with a few dots. You want to click on that, and that's going to bring up your toolbar over here on the side. These are going to be the things that we're going to use to analyze our video. You have that? Yeah. Okay. The first thing that you're going to want to do, there's a little thing that looks like a ruler right here. You want to click on that. That's going to set your scale. This fourth one down, and if you hold your mouse over it, it'll say set scale. And you want to click on that. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure something inside the video that we know how big it is so that we know how far our motion is occurring. So hopefully we all have a meter stick in there. Does anybody not have a meter stick in their video? Okay. If you don't have a meter stick, you can use the tiles on the floor are all 1 foot. So that would give you a good estimate. So what you want to do is you want to click on whatever you know the size of. Whoa, that wasn't it. Hang on. I didn't hold it. You want to click on that and drag your mouse over to the end of it. So this is a meter stick. So I'm going to measure the length of that thing in my video, and we're going to put that in as 1 meter. And click OK. So that's my scale. If you don't have a meter stick in it, yes. Each tile on the floor, so you can set that as your scale as well. So anything that you know how big it is, if you know how tall you are, or how big your car is or something, you can still do that. So you can set another scale here. Actually, 1 foot is 30 centimeters, so you could put that in. And you can do that. Yes. Do what? Can you just put the full scale in? Yes, you can. Yeah, anything that you know the size of. It doesn't really matter if it's 1 meter. You can change that in there. All right, so that's the first thing that we've got is our scale. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is set the origin. And so that's the third one down. Remember, the origin is our reference point. That's where we're going to start. So if you click on that, Now it depends on where you're going to measure from. If you measure from the front of the car or the back of the car, okay, whichever one you want to, it doesn't really matter. If you want to measure from the back of the car, you're just going to click right there. If you want to measure from the front of the car, you're going to click right there. It doesn't matter as long as you. It doesn't matter as long as it's consistent. And you can move it. So if you decide later, okay, I want this to be my reference point. If I want this to be my reference, you can move it later on. So wherever you decide to start your motion, you're going to put that. Now, if your video is going the other way, you want your motion to go in the same direction as this little dot. Okay. So if your video is starting over on this side, you can rotate that around. You can actually flip that. So you can flip this around and say, here's my other direction. Okay, so if you are going in the other way, you want to change that so that you're going positive. And now I can't get it back. There we go. Okay. So that's your reference point. It's a fun game. Not right now. We'll talk about that later. All right, so for right now, we've got our horizontal going this way, and we're going down a slope, so we're not staying completely on that horizontal. And that's okay, we'll figure that out. All right, everybody have their reference set, their origin set. All right, so once you have your origin set and you have your scale set, we're going to analyze that. So the second one down, it says add point. You're going to click on that. And whatever you choose as your origin, okay, so we're going to pick this front part of the car. All right, this is where it gets kind of tricky because you have to kind of figure out where that is. You're going to click on that and you're going to add a point. Okay, so it puts a little dot there. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. You just want to put the dot on the same place every time. So if you choose, the wheel is always kind of a nice place to pick. If you choose the wheel, you're going to put the dot on the wheel every time. If you choose the very front of the car, you're going to put a dot on the front of the car every time. Okay? If you pick the back, it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent every time. Okay? So once you have that first dot, you're going to advance your frames. And so what we're doing, every frame is the same amount of time. So if you advance one frame, it's going, I don't know, however long. And then you advance another frame, it's the same amount of time. One frame is not very much, so we're going to go like 5. So down here, where we moved it to the very beginning, these two little things, we're going to click 5 times. Or 10 times, or 15 times. However many times you want to, it doesn't really matter. This one right down here, where it says next frame. Okay. And then you're going to come up here and you're going to put another little dot in the same place. So if you picked the wheel, if you picked the front, if you picked the back, wherever you picked in the first one, you're going to come up here and you're going to put a little dot there. There's a setting for that. When you put the dot on, it'll advance it 1 frame, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. As long as you're the same every time, it doesn't matter. Okay. So if you advanced it 5, we're going to go 5 more. And then we're going to put a dot. And then we're going to go 5 more. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, one of the things about this, it's going to put a dot anywhere that you click. And especially since you don't have a mouse, since you're using the touchpad, a lot of times, you'll move your cursor over here and you'll put this random dot over here that you don't want. To get rid of that dot, up here where this little arrow is, you can select different points. So you can come over here and you can select this point and just hit delete, and it will go away. So every time you're going the same number of advances. So you're going to click 5 times again. Yes, however many that you did before, as long as you're consistent every time. There.
No.
No, you do the same thing. Do the same thing.
2, 3, 4, 5. Dash. 1, 2, 3.
And add a dot. Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4.
Hang on just a second. Let's get everybody there. Okay, so if you're getting that menu thing pop up, slow clicks. It should go like that. That's a good thing. I have a bow in my cart. All right. So once you have all of your dots, if you look at your graph, you're going to have two different sets of data points.
Whoa. Might actually intersect.
They will. They will. If you look over on your graph over here, you have X in centimeters and you have Y in centimeters or meters or whatever you measured it in. The X direction is how it went horizontally. Okay, so the motion in the horizontal, how far did it go in the horizontal direction is the X part of that axis. There is also a Y part of that axis, and what do you think that represents? The vertical, right. Okay, so
The other way.
okay, so the red dots here indicate the X direction. The Y dots indicate the vertical direction. Now, if you want to change this, if you only want to look at the X, which is what we're really interested in right now, if you click on this right here and just click on X, it'll get rid of the Y. Okay. So this is a nice little thing here. You can also change it to the X velocity, so it also measures the velocity for you. So you can click on that as well.